All right. We are here with Obeka, Splitter of Seconds. 4-minute Grixis, 2-5 minutes. Whenever Obeka, Splitter of Seconds, deals combat damage to a player, not a planeswalker, you get that many additional upkeep steps. So when it smacks people butt naked, it is 2 additional upkeep steps. You can give this, like, more power with equipment and enchantments and whatnot, and do it more, but I think it's already good enough at 2. It seems to be the only way I've ever seen it play. I've never seen it played with more than 2 power, because, you know, that's kind of going all in on just giving yourself more upkeeps as opposed to actually triggering it in the first place on anything relevant, because you got to make room for cards in your deck that care about upkeeps, right? So, with that being said, I think this filter works, right? Ah, it does, thank goodness. We have Laughing Skull. It is, I mean, I guess technically this is an outlaw because it's a warlock, so when this is in play and it triggers, you can maybe do it. This is probably the best will ever be, and I'm willing to try it, right? Twilight Prophet's another good one. The Hondens are cool. Midnight Clock is good. There's a second Midnight Clock in Rusco, so that is also, should be up here, technically. I've seen decks with, like, Shieldred, the Whispering one, but I don't really know. Like, there's a lot of things your opponent does not care to sacrifice, and unless you're playing a boatload of creatures, you're not really going to be reanimating that much. But I still like Portal to Phyrexia. Captive Audience is probably too adorable, but it is. Oh shoot, I lied. Oh no, it does say under your opponent's control. Never mind. I said at the beginning of your upkeep, it does count for Obeka, but it actually does not work with Obeka. So actually, I probably don't like this. I guess I should have reread it. Alright, that's unfortunate. Yeah, we're not going to run that one. Flipping Search is pretty cool. Call of the One Ring can tempt a bunch really quickly. You can maybe actually get the Power 6 zombie with Dreadhorde Invasion. There is Bitter Blossom. I, A, don't own it, and B, don't really know if, like, getting 1/1/1 or 3/1/1s is that exciting. And you do lose life each time it triggers, and I don't think 1/1 flyers are worth that 1 life trigger. Phyrexian Arena is, but I don't think that one is. The only reason I like this one is because it all goes on the same creature, so you can build a large one that becomes scary on its own, and obviously can regain the life if it ever gets to that point. The rest of the deck is a bunch of Grixis removal, Grixis counterspells, Grixis big scary dumb things. I like Sauron. I kind of like the 7-mana Bolus outside of the command zone too a little. I don't like Xandar or Xanathar. I don't like either of those. Xanathar's blue-black, but you know, you get my point. Obviously, Ragavan. Mana Drain in this deck. The one time I cast it, I instantly won. Reanimate, because reanimating basically anything is just kind of fine at 1 mana, especially if it comes out of your opponent's graveyard as well. I'm not running the One Ring because you don't want to upkeep the charge counters, or whatever they're, burden counters. I think they're burden counters. You don't want to upkeep trigger them because you don't. It doesn't necessarily let you draw. You're just losing life off of your ring and not really getting anything out of it. So I don't think this is a One Ring deck, even with Shieldred. No Davriel. If it feels like I'm never getting a trigger, I could run more upkeep cards. I guess I will replace the card I just took out with something. But yeah, there's not a ton of upkeep cards in the game that I'm too excited about. But there's a few. Sagas are, I guess, one of them? No, they're not. They're draw steps. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Yeah, there's not a lot of things that care about upkeep that I'm super excited about. Alright, after some apple Ciroc sipping, I found Theater of Horrors. It's kind of cool. It's an upkeep trigger. It cares for Obeka, so that was the card that we replaced the Captive Audience with. So, there we go. We did it. Nope. I like this, kind of. I wish I had more generic counterspells, though. Wow, they didn't even instantly. That has flash. They didn't flash it in. We're gonna get Xandar's Lounge. We're gonna play Dreadhorde. and we're gonna ignore all things our opponent does. And for it's 6 turns from now, we're gonna have a 6/6 and win the game. That's what's gonna happen here. Next turn, I guess I play Phyrexian Arena? Maybe? Okay, my opponent just went and played a tier 1 commander on turn 2. It's not even a pirate. That's just how stupid and disgusting that card is. What are we playing? What are we playing? I guess we're playing this. My opponent's going to have better upkeep triggers than I am. And I'm the upkeep deck. Okay. Is it a horde still? It is not. I was about to say, does the Dread Horde still put the counters here? That'd be funny. Alright, I guess we won. I'm kind of surprised. I mean, this is kind of cool. I don't really know what felt like a bad scenario for our opponent. Like, next turn, they just cast their commander, and they're kind of fine, right? This is the Angel deck. I have some removal, so I don't hate it. I have some removal here. I don't anticipate turn 1 removal mattering, so I'll probably play Fabled Passage and get black or blue or something. Well, my opponent does have something. Looks like a Cycler? An instant speed white spell that doesn't need a target. I'm going to get a black here. I need double black. I don't know what this could be. It must be a Cycler, right? I kind of want to play Sanctum, so I'm probably just going to get Watery Grave. Do I need a second red? Not necessarily. I definitely need a blue, and I guess I don't necessarily need a second red. So I guess I will get Watery Grave. And play this. Because my opponent's next turn is just their commander, so I'll just run this out here. I can push the commander, or actually I can just Virtue it as well. Okay, that makes me want to push, so I can leave this up. Oh, I guess I'll leave this up as well. Alright, another card. Mana Drain is pretty good, but not when your opponent knows about it. We're just going to play Go for the Throat. I kind of anticipate removal in my which one? I guess I'll play this one. I don't even know if Obeka is worth running out, but I might as well. My opponent knows about Go for the Throat. It's not going anywhere. If they take time off to deal with my commander, they didn't really put more to the board. Go for the Throat, again, still useful. I can't Swan Song a enchantment, and there's probably a few in here. Investigate for each opponent who has more cards hand than you. Okay. It's not a protection spell. I think it's better to kill this thing, because I can probably have less cards in hand than my opponent. So I'm not really concerned about that. Yeah, this 1 mana card must be a Cycler, like a Cycle Land or something. If I Swan Song that, I actually lose. They can just double block anyways, so that doesn't really get me anywhere. Let's play Fiery Islet and pass. Okay. Heartless Act. They come with 1/1 counters when they play this, so I either deal with it or I don't. I think I will, especially getting Virtue in the adventure area lets me adventure area put it in exile and do the stuff with it. It's probably fine. I can leave up removal and whatnot. Is this an adventure? I thought only creatures could be on adventures. I guess this is an adventure. Yeah, it is on an adventure. Your enchantment is on an adventure. That's weird. I was right then. Okay. Sure. Let's kill the Giver of Runes so I can continue killing things. If I play a land, or find a land, I'll probably just play Virtue. I didn't. As for Toll is a little useless when I don't have anything to, you know, play. Guess I'll just run this out. It's not even really guaranteed to hit my opponent. I'm not gonna lie, I am totally okay with that. I'm actually very surprised my opponent even did that, because they could easily just block my Obeka and not attack, and I would not have the upkeep triggers anyways. So that's a little weird to me. Are we gonna crack the clue, or are we gonna leave this up? I think I'm gonna play this, leave up Swan Song, and crack the clue. Is there any reason to crack the clue right now? I do have, like, Thoughtseize in my deck. Well, Pale Life. No, I'm just gonna pass. I don't think it's likely. I don't think it's likely here. Opponent has no lands. They haven't played a land in quite a while, actually. I don't imagine they have Wandering Emperor, but you never know. This is not an upkeep trigger. The other shrines are. These are just pre-combat triggers. Unfortunately. Let's put this on red. I think I have enough black at this point. And one of my red deals damage to me, so... I don't want this to get hit by anything, but just casting it is really a must-answer threat, no matter how the game pans out. And they seem to have a lot of creature removal, so I'm just not going to bother playing my commander. We have not seen enchantment removal. So far, we've also avoided them investigating. Alright, they finally found a land. I can't imagine there's a lot in their deck that's above 5 anyways. Oh, that's 5. What does it do? If your life would be reduced to 0 or less, Enduring Angel... Okay. Let us reanimate... Giver of Runes. Seems pretty nice. Reanimate. Hey, that's funny. So, Disdainful Stroke is free because of As Foretold. I feel a little bit less bad about just running this out. I think I'm still going to run this out, though. I'm going to cast this. Oh! Oh, no, dude. Why? You gotta be kidding me. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go to 6, up to 7. They played a card that's pretty good to reanimate, though, so I guess I'll... Okay, I kind of need help. Alright, deck. Please. I really need you to do something here. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. Okay, play land. No reason to swing. I take 1, 2, 3, 4. I can block the 3/3. They can buff their... Well, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, it just doesn't matter. They should probably swing with everything. If they see my health total, the 1/3 should attack. Okay, they did not attack with it. And they also buffed the incorrect creature. I can just block that. Yeah, they kind of messed this combat up a little here. They should have swung with everything. I should be taking 2 additional damage right now, essentially. I mean, I guess this does mean they wouldn't be able to swing with this, right? Because this is a 3-3 and it wouldn't die. So maybe this is the only way to attack. No, you still have to swing with the 1-3, because I can't block it. I have to block the 4-4 double strike. Yeah, so I'd have taken 1 additional here. That should be at 4. Alright, let's go get a Surveil land or a Seek land. I guess Surveil land, so I don't have to invest mana. Similar enough. I mean, I haven't asked for Told. Maybe I can just get a Seek land. Guarantee a non-creature spell. Most of them are castable. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. They should have cracked their clue. It's a little weird that they didn't do that. That's a good draw. It is something I can't play right now. Kind of concerned about playing more lands that cost life to do anything, but I'm just neither here nor there. The Sanctum is keeping us in the game. Sort of. I could have picked these up in reverse order and gained 3 life, but, I think I needed the 3 power. I can't really play Phyrexian Arena. Oh, I have more cards in their hand. Ah, maybe I should have played Phyrexian Arena. No, that just, there's no way. There's no way. Alright, so they name Angel, and then all preceding angels get a 1/1 counter when they enter. Sure. Or rather, this gets the counters, not the other way around. Alright, opponent's keeping us honest. I like it. A bit unnecessary of an attack, but, well, I can always mess it up, right? I can always mess it up. It is possible. Guess this one. Okay. Kind of done drawing lands, please. No more lands, please. Okay, we found another shrine. This is free because of the As Foretold. I guess I will play the shrine. And I almost want to play Arena, but I don't think I have to quite yet. I already have base. If I play the Arena, I can't Seek. Oh wait, no, I already can't Seek. Never mind. Yeah, I still don't think I have enough life to play this. Maybe next turn. I also might not even need it now because I'm drawing off of the Sanctum. And fortunately, Swan Song is still useful. And I take 4. I don't have to make a move. Oh, don't have a combat trick. Not like this. You and permanents you control game hexproof. Okay, this doesn't change anything. This does not buff any of their stuff. They gave me a reanimate target too with the Virtue and the Cleric, so I gain actually a lot more life. Okay, we can make 2/2 angels. Let us get probably this one? Yeah, because I gain life and this doubles the effect, so let's do that. Alright, we're at 4, then we gain more here. I guess I'll get rid of the tap land. Nicol Bolas is probably not a good idea. I think I'm going to play Rusco. Alright, I can play this for free, as foretold. And play Rusco for 4. This comes with a life gain because of Rusco's trigger. I can leave up Swan Song if I cast Nicol Bolas. And a removal spell is probably fine on the Enduring Angel. And still no attack. So I'll just pass. Alright. I think we're pulling ahead here. I think that was the corner has been turned. I think we're good here. Destroy all creatures and all permanents. That is really weird in a deck like this, and I think I can let this resolve. I get back the Scarab God. So I think that's fine. Honestly, them losing their creatures is pretty good for me. I still have Nicol Bolas to just pull ahead. I don't think I need my creatures here. I'll take the Valkyrie so I can start to gain life. Alright, pretty huge draw. I really could have Swan Songed it. Yeah, I mean, like, see, it didn't matter. My opponent swept my board, and it just didn't matter, so... You could say it's too greedy to not counter this, but I was correct in not countering it, because my opponent gave up anyways, because I don't think my opponent's getting out of this regardless, and... If they had some crazy nonsense, I would like to have the chance to maybe Swan Song it after the fact. Because this is not nearly enough to win the game in the long run, so I could just let it resolve. Nice. Tasha is pretty... Actually, Tasha's incredibly good against a lot of what this is trying to do, sort of. The emblem, maybe not so much, but everything else is trying to do. It's not bad. Alright, I'm looking for a black source. And dodging a, whatchamacallit. Alright, well, sucks that that's not on turn 1, but it's not a surprise. Not a big deal either. They had a blocker for it. Couldn't swing if I wanted to. This is the old perfect curve white strategy. We've seen time and time again. Or just triple one-drop strategy as well, I guess. Alright, found the black mana. I cannot counter my opponent's commander. I can deal like 1 to it. But change the equation, it dodges change the equation perfectly. Which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Can't be too upset losing to that one. Okay, I guess they're just not casting their commander. Interesting. Okay. Sure, do they have a knight? Alright, I'll just block the last. I'll just cast this for the sake of casting it. Tasha shuts down a huge chunk of what they're able to do, but their commander can then be annoying after the fact. Oh, I got Wash Away. I have to leave up Wash Away. I have to. I don't have a choice. My opponent's missed, like, they have no cards in hand, so... Do I swing? Nah. Alright, never mind. They found a land. So if they find a land, they can cast it again, which is annoying. Okay, I get a kill on the Ornithopter. I like to see that. I don't think they can let me hit them. Yeah, there's no reasonable way you can let me do that. Alright, they play a land, we have to deal with Barcy Cat. If they don't, then we have to deal with the rest of their stuff. They did not play a land, so we don't have to deal with their commander. They can swing with basically nothing. I can play this. And then pass. This only discards lands, right? Lands or shrines, okay. Alright, we did it. Yeah, Tasha shuts down basically all their attacks. If they ever play their commander again, I can counter it, and then it's very far from ever being relevant again. And then from there, I just have to... I do need 2 more black sources for this, and Ragavan's obviously not getting through. The -6 is really not that useful, because there's just 3 random 1-drops. I'll probably just plus this a bunch. Because the very turn I don't plus it is the turn they can attack. So we probably plus until they deal with it. Casting this is also a bit useless here, because they can just very easily block and kill it like twice, maybe even more times, as they cast a bunch of 1-drops that I'm not going to counter. And, yeah, we're just sort of banking on this staying alive, really. So I can just slowly draw into an advantage. So be it. Alright, this is the 3rd game where I've had Ragavan on the draw. No Ragavan on the play, though. It is moderately difficult, if not completely impossible, for them to deal with this. Yep. Ragavan has player death touch. Still has not changed. There's a decent chance it doesn't actually hit anything, but the treasure tokens are just absolutely disgusting. I can just race really far ahead, quickly get online with these, and start pinging my opponent's face pretty fast here, so... Alright, it's another Ragavan, but again, not on the play. I think I'm still keeping this. Feels a little ugly, though. I need them to not have a particular set of cards in a particular fashion. I'm not going to dash my Ragavan. I don't want to invest mana every turn in it. Just going to cast it once and be done with it. Alright, looks like we do get to smack them up. That's nice. Love to see it. Get to Cyberbully him. I would like to cast this, but I think I'm going to leave up my counter magic. I think that's just better. If I can lock them under getting hit by Ragavan over and over, that's probably just better for me. So let's let that be a reality. I will cast my Phantom Interference first, I think. I could also cast Disdainful Stroke. Maybe I should do that. There's maybe not a ton of targets for that card. Oh, okay, I'll just Disdainful Stroke anything then. Ghostly Prison is not what we're after. Can I play something else and not feel too bad? Not really. I'd like to play this, but then we're in still the same issue where I don't have the mana to then play anything else, so... Okay. Can I drown that? Nope, it's 4. Spree this. Alright, yep. Turn 1 Ragavan. Well, no, wait, no. Turn 2 Ragavan. Turn 2 Ragavan. It's Ragavan again! But probably not that good against mono red, especially on the draw. Especially not turn 1. So it's on the draw. Turn 2 against a mono red deck. That's, yeah, that's just terrible. Okay. The whole hand thus forth is pretty terrible, so. Let us play Thoughtseize on 1. Probably play this face on black. Opponent turn 1 Faithless Lootings, sure. Other Magda. Get out of here. Get out of here. I don't think I'm gonna... Yeah, I couldn't Tails in if I wanted to, because my opponent's on the play, which is extremely powerful for 2 mana commanders. Let us play... this one? They have to target me with spells to get the treasures. They can't just do it for free or whatever. They have to actually target me. Which they currently can, right, with this thing? So they can do it. They only have 1 instance of doing it, apparently. Let's get this, I think. Yeah. Watery Grave is not in the cards. Sauron is just bad for my opponent. They Chaos Warped a land? What? Oh, okay. That's a little interesting, huh? Let's play this, and I guess I'll just kill my opponent's commander. I don't see why not. Just slow them down a bit. They don't have any other thing I'm too concerned with looming around. That was really weird, though. I mean, it played out in their favor, but there's a chance it literally wouldn't, right? There's a chance that just didn't work. Okay, that's a horrendously bad card to see, and I really wish I didn't see it right now. I guess I need that land. I probably lose to this Kindling. I think this Kindling can literally solo me, and nothing matters from here. Okay, well, Lightning Bolt's not a big deal. I don't really care about that one. Okay. They took a land. Or whatever, sure. You got it. That's not what I would have done, but that's something my opponent did. Let's see. If I play my commander, it's not really doing anything. I think we can Inquisition, leave up Tail's End, and also Mana Drain, which is pretty useful. Never in a million years would I counter that. Knock yourself out. Unexpected Windfall. Now that is unexpected. I could Tails End this trigger, but then I don't have anything to Mana Drain. Assuming that's what's going to happen. Alright, so I can Mana Drain and then cast Sauron, which is extremely good. My opponent also doesn't have any other thing to do except Faithless Looting, which I guess you might as well. I don't think this treasure thing's doing anything. You were about to discard it anyways. You could find Mishra's Bauble that way, right? Find something useful. Nope. Opponent said nope. So let's get a black source here. We need triple black for Nicol eventually. Maybe we top deck it right now. Although I'd still want to use the Mana Drain mana anyways. Let's put this on Warlock. Let's cast this. Wait. 1, 2, 3, and Grixis. So I can't leave up Tail's End. Unfortunate. But Sauron is so good, maybe I don't really need Tail's End this turn cycle. Siege Gain Commander. You cannot target this. So the tokens throwing them at my face is all they can do with them. Which is pretty useful. I have nothing to do but this. Do I cast this, or do I just leave up Tails and Negate? I'll just leave up Tails and Negate, I think. Again, I think I'm just losing to Kaya's Kindling, and nothing else matters anyways, but it is what it is. That is not a legendary. I can't deal with it. I have to hit them with the army, right? I have to hit them with the army to do the thing. That one doesn't solo me. Lucky me. I don't think I have an answer to Kaya's Kindling in my entire deck. Disdainful Stroke. Alright, so do I double swing? No, I'll just swing with the army. And then I just, I can cast this and leave up one of my counter spells. This isn't even all that useful in play, but I'm just going to cast it. I'm just going to cast it. It would be great to not lose to a single enchantment sitting in play. That's kind of stupid. but it is what it is. Electro Dominance for what? 1, 2... They can do it for 6? They can do it for 6. Okay. So at least I have a negate target, assuming my opponent does actually cast it here. Which probably they do. Block that in this. Alright, cool. Nice. My opponent just, like, washed their entire board and then lost to a counterspell. I like Davriel. I like Davriel as a commander. Yep. Thought Seize, take away the mana rock that lets them cast their commander on turn 2. They don't have it. Let's take... What do I take here? Dread Presence? I think I just take the Dread Presence. Okay, let's cast our Black Market Connections. I do need to pay... Wait, I don't need to pay. I'll just get an island. Saving myself life is probably more important than anything, especially when I'm generating treasures. It doesn't... I'm not, like, color screwed. Realistically. Okay, no, I'm just absolutely not color screwed. I guess I can make a single 3-2 and then not make any more. My opponent has a 5 mana removal spell. Let's cast this on. It doesn't matter. No, it does. Phyrexian. It does matter. Because I don't want to crack the treasure to cast this. I do not want to crack the treasure. Alright, opponent did not have an answer to this. If they had a land, it would only be Dread Presence, unless they, you know, drew something. Okay, we're actually on the play this time with Ragavan. Still leads to dumb games, but you know what? Take them as we get them. Especially with a counterspell. Especially against a mono blue deck. There is nothing in the game that stops this here. We probably have it. Let's play you and swing. Most likely not cast whatever I find. And pass. There's probably nothing my opponent can do to get out of this. Including that. Mana Drain. Isn't that ironic? We will keep that. No. You don't get to play the game. You're not allowed. No game gets to be played by you. Just Ragavan soloing you. Snapcaster Mage has no use. However, I will proceed to cast Big Giant Scary Dragon. And keep the... Yeah, I'll just keep the treasure tokens. Alright, player Death Touch won the game. Okay, so this commander sucks. It did some pretty useful things, actually incredibly useful things, when I was playing against it. But I usually play every single commander, so everybody gets to do the most degenerate things against me as I'm playing, like, you know, we're learning what commanders are complete jank as I go through each new commander. This one is also jank. There are not enough upkeep cards. I mean, I was running a fair amount. I almost always had one in my... I mean, I guess we could sort like this. I had one basically every game for the most part. This is your entire list of options. This is it right here. These pages are the only things you have that care, and some of these aren't even true, like the theater. The theater is your opponent's upkeep. It doesn't, like, read like that, but this is your opponent's. The One Ring doesn't count. This is completely useless. I don't know why you would play something like Fountain of Renewal. This is extremely mana hungry, so you'd have to spend all your mana just drawing cards for 2. That does not seem ideal in any way. Like, half of these, this doesn't do anything on an upkeep. It just reanimates itself once. This doesn't count. It's just upkeep of your opponent on the emblem there. A lot of these don't do anything. This just does nothing but damage you. Doesn't do anything except damage you. A lot of these don't do anything. Delver's Secrets gets more options to flip if you somehow manipulate the top of your deck within the same turn that you also swung with this, and for some reason are playing Delver's Secrets. So realistically, there may be 2 or 3 additional cards that are an argument to play that I'm not playing, but this is basically all you have right here. And a lot of these aren't even all that useful. A lot of times, your opponent does not care about Honden by the time it's in play. A lot of the time, your opponent doesn't care about Portal to Phyrexia or Persistence reanimating more than one thing a turn. Reanimating one thing a turn is already really good. You don't necessarily need to do it a bunch of times. Discounting stuff is excellent. As for Told felt pretty good. I didn't really get to utilize it that much, but it did feel good when I did. So for the commander and what it can do, the options are not there in Historic. Paper, just like the past 2 commanders, this could be different, but it's not here. This is the tools are not here for you to be able to do this. They're literally just not there. You are still a very solid Grixis control deck. Grixis control is just a good strategy, right? I'm pretty sure both of these Nicol Bolas are tier 1. They're in the tier 1 bracket. The 7-mana Nicol Bolas that was in here for a second, and then I took it out once it actually did something, which is already rare in itself. But once it already did something, I took it out. It's not really a good card. Sauron is alright. Xandar is alright. It's a little steep to get to go and do something. Obviously, Ragavan won me a disproportionate amount of games. This card is just dumb. So if you have red in your deck, you just have to play this. You're just playing Grixis Control with this plan B strategy of sometimes having an upkeep relevant card and also having this in play and also swinging with it. I don't think, I'll have to go back and look. It's been 2 hours. I do not think I ever got a relevant Obeka trigger. I don't think it ever happened. 2 hours worth of games. I played like 25 games or whatever. I don't think I ever got Obeka to do anything. Ever. It's a 4-mana commander, so maybe playing Mana Rocks, getting it in turn 3 is pretty what you want to do, but then you obviously have to make room for those Mana Rocks, which means you're less of a control Grixis thing and you're more of a ramp into more of a ramp into this to doing upkeep things. As we've seen the past few commanders, if you're all in on just your commander strategy, it makes you weak against a lot of things that you might have moderate hedge against, changing your deck a little. I think this is much stronger without rocks because you make room for Grixis control time buyers so you could get to Obeka in the first place. A lot of turn 4 was not even wanting to play Obeka because my 4-drops are a fair amount of my Upkeep Matters triggers, and playing Obeka without an Upkeep Matter card doesn't really do anything. If I just play this on turn 4 when I had a Honden, or like, not this one, let's say this, or Twilight Prophet with the City's Blessing, well, I wouldn't actually have the City's Blessing by then, but like Tasha or Rusko getting the token, right? Like, I would much rather do that, or just play something else, or leave up counter spells and removal spells, and just not play Obeka. In fact, I think a lot of the times I played against Obeka, they also did the same thing. If you don't have an Upkeep Matters card, you don't necessarily have to go for your commander, which is fine. That is fine. It just means it is already, therefore, a plan B, even if you had the card options to not make it a plan B, because you're leaving up stuff to interact with your opponent before you even go for it. So it's not even really you could say not a 4-mana Planeswalker, dang it, not a 4-mana commander. It's just a Grixis control list. With that being said, I do believe that this is better. Every time I played against this, it just felt like a better thing to do. It comes in earlier. It interacts with the entirety of your Plan A strategy instead, because this just doesn't do that, right? And you don't have to play weird upkeep jank cards. You can just play Grixis Control with a 3-mana relevant commander. Getting a, what is that? Sleight of hand, it's basically sleight of hand. Getting a sleight of hand every time you target anything of your opponent's is pretty solid. Yeah, I mean, it's like a reverse Rhystic study. You have to pay 1 to draw the card, but that's kind of fine, right? Like, you're playing slow Grixis, play mana, ramp. You can also play mana rocks, and you feel excellent about doing that. You're not even upset if this dies twice, right? Obeka is kind of devastating when it dies. Very hard to get into play a second time unless you're really playing mana rocks, which then your deck is now just weaker against the larger swash of the which you're playing against. So I just can't recommend this one. It is significantly better than the past few that I've played, but it is still not a relevant, quote unquote, relevant strategy within the text box. The deck is fine. The card itself is not fine. It doesn't play into your try to actually win the game by outvaluing your opponent's control thing. Playing this vulnerable 2/5 menace that a large amount of the time when you do play it, it actually can't swing anyways with menace. I couldn't swing against an Emoti deck because they could just chump block with irrelevant Minidorks. So it's so hard to get this to hit your opponent unless you're playing flying, the auras and equipment that make it unblockable or something. But then you're doing that. You have to make room for that, right? It's just too much. And then you have something like the Gitrog monster, which has trample and haste baked into the card. So now you don't have to worry about giving Gitrog monster haste or trample. It just comes with it. This does not come with the relevant stuff except menace. And menace, a good amount of the time, is actually not good enough. If it had menace and haste, but it doesn't. I think this would have been fine if it had haste. Because then at that point, the only upkeep matters things would be 1, 2, and 3. It actually wouldn't matter about your 4 mana hasting upkeep trigger scam, because this would be your 4-drop. So if this had haste, it would actually be totally fine. Completely fine. If it had haste and only 1 power, it would have been fine. So you only get 1 additional upkeep trigger instead of 2. I think that would have been a fine trade-off. I think it would have made the card better. But yeah, you can see how this just doesn't work. It's still fun to play Grixis Control, so any excuse to do it, I will do it. But yep, let me know what you thought about the list. If you have ideas to make it somehow better, let me know. There's not a lot of upkeep options. I went through every card, so the core strategy can't necessarily get better. But like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.